writing the music is usually not the problem. I write new riffs all the time, recording on my cell phone or something, or out of a jam session with the two of us. But how the actual album came together was a problem this time. It, like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. It was a total shit show from the, like, not a single moment of joy in this. I got to be 100% honest. Like, you know, before we make an album, we usually discuss if there's even a need for making a new album. That's a question a lot of bands should ask themselves. If there's a need, do we have something to share, to give? Do we want to, like, you know, put something out there and not only do it because we are a band out of a habit? So after a while of serious discussion, we decided we're going to give it another shot and we want to make a fourth record. And I flew over to Germany, got very injured, ended up in hospital, and so no new record. I flew back to the States where I live, came back to Germany 2 months later in order to do what we missed out last time. The first night of the rehearsals, I slip in a supermarket, get injured again with the same knee, end up in the hospital again, 2 months on crutches, several surgeries, no health insurance, like, you know, and then I had to fly back to the US without having a new album, and the mood was bad, and it felt like the stars were aligning against us and the universe trying to tell us something. And after a few months I wrote Arrange, and if we still want to do it, and he was up for it, and we tried like one last thing that we could try, because I couldn't go back to Germany due to COVID and still being on crutches and whatnot. And so I, for the first time ever, I pre-produced the record, like demos at home here in this very room that you see, sent it over to Germany, and Arrange recorded the drums, you know, and but yeah, it was like, it was very tedious and very, very exhausting, and we're both still recovering from it. It put the band to test, but we survived. We're still here, but it sucked big time. Well, what you see, what you hear, what you read is what you get. Pain is forever and this is the end. It started as a cynical joke, like a working title. A lot of bands give their songs and their records working titles, but it became very bitter, harsh reality very quick. And once we were done with it, and the band pretty much almost broke up over it, because, you know, we thought we lost it, we couldn't handle it no more because so much shit was happening and everything went wrong. We thought it's a very fitting title, and this album deserves this title, trust me. And Dark Times deserve a dark album. This is what you got right here with this record. Well, like I said, due to the fact I couldn't do it in Germany because I got injured several times and I had to go back empty-handed to the US, I sent over the demos to Arrange, and he recorded the drums with me on Skype or on the phone in a studio in Bremen, Germany, which is our hometown where we're from. And I recorded the rest here in Florida in my own house, in this, actually, you know, DIY, you know, still punk rock, home recording still is king for me. So in this very office that you see right here, I wrote the album, I wrote the lyrics, worked on the artwork, wrote the music, and pre-produced the demos, and eventually recorded the full record right here. I have like literally cables running down in the living room where I put my stacks, my guitar speakers, and there's another recording room downstairs. But I sit here. This is the central of power, and this is where I sit and usually play music. So I recorded it right here. Well, we always tried, to be fair, to write melodic stuff, or at least like songs with a strong hook line. We grew up with that, you know, like pop songs or whatever. I like, especially Arrange listens to a lot of like 80s pop and that kind of stuff. So a strong hook line was always a very big part for us in songwriting, and still for me, it's the hardest currency in songwriting in general. Like a good melody or a good hook line that's going to stick to your head and ages well over time. And yeah, we probably pushed it to the max this time, but it's always been in the Mantar catalog. it's always been our favorite songs, I think, that have the strongest hook lines. We just like it when we play live and you see up the fists going on and people like raising fists and whatnot, and people sing along. That's nice. And, you know, I just like it that way. And, you know, we always did that. It's probably more this time, but maybe that's just the overall songwriting got better. No, not in specific. I know that a lot of musicians claim that other musicians try to listen to as much music as possible beforehand to get inspired. I try to block out listening to specific records because getting inspired is like heaven in hell, because often you end up copying stuff, and usually you always come in second best. So I listen to the radio. That's what I do. Here in Florida, there's a local classic rock station, Classic Rock Wind FM 92.5, and I listen to that on a daily basis. And they play all the classics. So I grew up on classic rock, AC/DC, Thin Lizzy, Motorhead, ZZ Top, whatever you name it. And always in classic rock, it's always been, again, about writing a good, catchy tune, a good song. And that's what I tried this time as well, writing good songs. And so, yeah, I think, no, I didn't listen to anything in specific. I just tried to, you know, get inspired by good music. At this point, I don't really know. To be frank, we usually only play the songs that are fun for us to play. Like, you know, without wanting to sound cocky or anything, but it's very important for us that we also have a good time when we play a show. So usually we try to play the songs that we can play best and it's the most fun for us to play. So we're going to find that out in the rehearsal room pretty soon, I guess. At this point, I have no idea. There's a lot of good songs which I personally can see in a live setting. And time will tell. Like, you know, I don't want to stress myself too much out about it. You know, if there's ever going to be live shows again, who knows? Well, again, no long-term plans. We never been a band with long-term plans. You know, when we first recorded Death by Burning in 2013, 14, our first album, it was supposed to become like a demo cassette tape. And it became a full record, and the rest is history. But we never made long terms when it comes to album cycles or something like that. So at this point, we just made this album and let life rain down on us, I guess. And at this very moment, we're still in 100% recovery mode because it was such a shit show to do this album. And other than that, I hope people are going to dig it. We put a lot of effort, probably the most effort we ever did in an album in this. And I'm proud of it because we almost broke up over it. Things were falling apart. The whole universe seemed to work against us, and we conquered it. We tough as nails, I guess. No team, no pain, no gain. That's what we are and always been. And you better like it. The artwork. Did you mean? Well, first of all, it's white, which is a bold move if you ask me. Like everything in metal whatsoever needs always to be black, and you know, but white is a color that is a very bold move if you ask me. Like everything I can think of that's white is pretty nasty. Like a hospital, doctors, you know, cocaine, whatever. Like white is bad news usually. So the story behind the artwork, you know, we live in a time where people demand very, very simple answers for complex questions. And just as the title, Pain is Forever and This is the End, we thought maybe like to put out something half serious, more like a cynical, ironic joke, pretty much, you know. Even though it's pretty real actually. So people people want to be part of something these days. They all want to be part of something and have their say in anything. Like, you know, they're falling for all crazy ass conspiracy theories, you name it, and they're getting blind to what's happening, and they're very, like, in front of their very own eyes. And, you know, this looks like a flyer you get, like, on the street. Someone puts in your hand. It looks like a flyer for some sort of a church or a cult. We like that idea. And you know, if people demand simple answers for complex questions, I think this is the perfect artwork, because they're going to lure you in. They promise to have the answers for everything, and this is what you sign up for, and this is what you're going to end up with. And yeah, and it's a white album. Like I said, it's at this point it's an album with the white artwork. If it's going to be our white album, time will tell.